I'm looking at the NBA standings. The closest, besides for the Pacific Division, the closest that any last place team is to a first place team, besides for the Pacific, is the Bulls to the Cavs in the Central, 17 and a half games back. And then you look at the Pacific Division, and every single team is separated only by 3.5 games. All of them. All of them. So the Lakers are currently in first. Anthony Davis is out for a week, maybe more. Everyone knows he's made out of what's he made out of? What's the word I'm looking for here? Glass?
Glass.
Like what kind of glass? Yeah. He's made out of
Plexiglass?
Paper mache? Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he always gets hurt. It's a glass trail. He always gets hurt. So Anthony Davis is now hurt for the Lakers. The Clippers are a half game out. I mean, Tyronn Lue still refuses to play Kawhi Leonard full minutes because he doesn't seem like he's fully healthy. The Sacramento Kings are now rumored to trade De'Aaron Fox. They already fired their coach. The Phoenix Suns are in the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes. The Warriors are in last 3.5 games behind the Lakers, and they are in the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes. So it feels like there may be a betting opportunity here, right? It feels like pretty topsy-turvy right now. The market at BetMGM for the Pacific Division, Femi, Clippers plus 125, Lakers plus 240, Suns at 4, Kings at 750, and the Warriors, who are 3.5 games back, with Steph Curry, are 25 to 1 to win the Pacific Division. And Jimmy Butler might be on his way there. So is there anything to do here right now, Femi, in your estimation, with the Pacific Division in the NBA?
I do think there's something to do, and I think it's something that you want to do before this trade deadline really kicks into high gear, because the trade deadline, for those who don't know, is next Thursday in the NBA, February 6th. It will be during Super Bowl week. Not sure why they do that, but that's when the trade deadline is. And I think we're going to hear over the weekend and then heading into next week, early next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to start to see guys getting moved, and it could be big name guys. It could be Jimmy Butler. It could be Brandon Ingram. There's a lot of guys that are out there that are potentially on the trading block, like Bradley Beal and his contract are out there on the trading block. But I do think Golden State, to me, is very, very interesting at 25 to 1. And it's interesting enough for me to at least make a bet on the Golden State Warriors. This morning, I did bet them to win the Pacific Division because I think they're motivated enough to try to get one last run out of Steph Curry. Like whether that's Jimmy Butler or another route to go ahead and get some other guys to bring them in. I think they want to go ahead and at least honor Steph and say hey, Steph, we're trying for you, because Curry's done a lot for the organization. He put them on the map. He won a bajillion titles with that team. They want to go ahead and do right by their superstar, and they're not far off. And like Nick just outlined, every team in this division has something going for them, and there's something in the way. Like the Lakers, it's Anthony Davis. All these teams, there's something wrong with them. So in a division where there's chaos, in a division where it's incredibly compressed, like this almost to me, it's not apples to apples, but it does give shades of Ramley NFC West from this past football season, to where you could it gives a little shades of that, to where you could point.
I mean, you got Kerr, who's like the McVay here. You got Curry, who's like the Stafford. It's not,
they have the pedigree.
I don't know if I'm picking up what you're putting down, to use a Femiism, but all right.
But it has, the point is that you can kind of poke holes through every single team. And that was the whole part of the NFC West, is you could poke holes in the Niners that were injured. Seattle was they were up and coming. Mike McDonald, was a first-time head coach. You could poke holes in the Cardinals, tough schedule. Kyler Murray, Gannon trying to figure it out. In this instance, Nick, you just did. You poked holes in every single team in this division. Nobody is above reproach. In that case, I like taking shots on a long shot. I like looking at teams that are the extreme prices. The Warriors are that team. And if they make a move, let's say the Warriors get Jimmy Butler, the 25 to 1 that's out there at BetMGM, what is that price? 8 to 1 the next day? And it doesn't have to be.
Well, who are they trading?
Butler.
Who are they trading?
That's the thing, is that you're probably trading Wiggins.
Kuminga?
You're trading Andrew Wiggins. I don't think they would trade
both?
Kuminga. I think they're keeping Kuminga. I think they're trading Wiggins. Maybe it's Moses Moody as well. I don't know how much Moses Moody is going to excite the Miami Heat, but the Heat have also lowered the asking price. So the Heat know that they have to just offload Jimmy. They can't go out there and say, we want Kuminga and we want Pajemski and all these guys. They can't just say that they want all of it. They're going to have to take what's out there, because Jimmy doesn't want to be there, and he's going to be paying the you-know-what if he remains in Miami. So I think the Warriors could actually...
It's okay.
He could be a pain in the ass if he wants to stay in Miami.
That's okay. So you could say that. It's all right.
I was tipped the, I never know what we can say and what we can't say. But like,
yes,
I think
ass is okay. Other variations of that word or not, but ass is okay. Yes.
Just nothing after the ass. Okay.
Yes, please.
As long as we write that down. I do think that the Warriors, if they make, and it doesn't even have to be Butler, it could be another guy as well. Like, we'll see what happens. But like, I think that the Warriors are going to be active, and them being active, getting Kuminga back from injury, makes them an interesting team to bet on in this division. Not saying that they're 100% going to win it. I just like it at the price, given the fact that the other teams have uncertainty as well.
Can we just talk about for a second? Let's say this happens. And it doesn't matter who just for the purposes of this question, it doesn't matter who they trade. Jimmy Butler becomes a Warrior. Who is the alpha? Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green?
Ooh.
Because like Steph
it's still Draymond.
That's not really Steph. Because I'll tell you what though. Draymond goes to swing at Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler swinging back.
Yeah. I don't think that's going down. I
don't think it's not like a Jordan Poole situation here. Because like those are two guys that you could see potentially butting heads in a big way. I'm not saying that would definitely happen, just that when you get like two, I guess they're type A, right?
Yeah. Type A personalities.
But you get like
especially
not just type A though, like 99th percentile type A, and put them in a locker room together. Just fascinated to see how that would play out with Butler and Draymond. Look, maybe they'd both be dogs in a good way and like it just like rip the soul out of the opposition. I could see that potentially blowing up though as well. I think it would be fascinating to see it happen.
But don't you think that Jimmy's going to be on his best behavior wherever he gets traded to? Like he feels like, because he just wants out of Miami. That's all he wants.
Well,
he doesn't want to be there because they don't want to pay him.
Here's what I would say about Jimmy Butler. What do you think motivates Jimmy? If you had to guess. Like, what's his motivation right now?
Like, I would say number one right now, currently in his career, is money. Number two, I do think is winning. I do still think he wants to win, but the money.
Okay, I disagree. I think number one is money. Money.
What's number three?
Money. Money. Like, is he 36? 35?
I believe he's like
in his mid-30s.
35, 36. Yeah.
Okay. How many?
He's trying to hit one last contract.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not suggesting that Jimmy Butler would go sign with the Charlotte Hornets if they paid him the most money. I'm also not saying he wouldn't. So does he really? I don't know. Does he really care? I still think he wants to care.
I think in the playoffs, like he's a playoff performer. I think he would elevate his level to where and I also think there's a little bit of him where he wants to go ahead and give a bleep you to the Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. I think he wants to do that as well. Like, oh, you guys didn't want to pay me. You guys don't think that I can still do this in the postseason? Watch this. I think you're going to get a motivated Jimmy Butler if he is traded to like the Suns or the Warriors or something like that. I think
Where do you want him to get traded? Because like Suns would be fun also. Like if you could pick the destination for what's the most fun destination for Jimmy Butler?
I mean, it's hard for me to say that without being biased now because like I'm invested in the Warriors. Like obviously that's my answer is the Golden State Warriors. Phoenix, the roster's just been it's been torn. Tobias Harris over me? Let's do that whole thing again. Let's send him back there to Philadelphia with Joel Embiid. Although they were a pretty nice pairing. They should have kept Jimmy Butler. Maybe they would not have had the issues that they had post Jimmy Butler. Like I have issues with the Suns just because they gutted that roster to get Durant and Beal. And like if you put Jimmy in there, of course he's better than Beal. And I guess Butler, Booker, and Durant. Like that's a playoff trio that you'd be scared of. With Budenholzer, who has at least won a title. It's interesting, but I think this Warriors thing with Steph Curry. Steph still has juice left in the tank. He just needs another player who can create offense. Jimmy could be that guy.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And we'll see, do the Warriors want to bring Butler into that locker room? Like we're obviously hypothesizing that this could happen. And I think to Femi's point, like even if it doesn't, you get Steph Curry and the Warriors at 25-1. Just that the price is a little wonky. I think we can all agree on that, right? With Kuminga coming back and look, I'm not the biggest Steve Kerr fan. I think we can all agree like Kerr's a good coach. Curry's obviously an all-time great, and the price 25-1 does seem to be a little wonky right now. And I can't wait, sincerely. We'll be in New Orleans doing the shows for the Super Bowl to see where Jimmy Butler gets traded. Yeah, I think the Warriors would be the most fun destination, but Phoenix would be cool too, and maybe we get a curveball thrown, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the Miami Heat could definitely just send him to wherever. Jimmy doesn't have the no trade clause like Bradley Beal does, which is still the most hilarious aspect of this entire trade deadline, is that Bradley Beal of all people has the no trade clause, which shout out to his agent for getting that thing worked out. But I think the Butler situation, the De'Aaron Fox one now, like we haven't talked much about the Kings, but like that's another team that like they've played much better with Doug Christie as the interim head coach after they fired Mike Brown, but still like Fox, like he kind of makes that whole thing go. You remove him from the equation, and then if let's say it's San Antonio, is it Chris Paul coming back? Like Chris Paul who wants to slow the pace down to like a molasses pace? Is that what we're doing? Is it Keldon Johnson? Like what's that trade look like? Because like San Antonio is not going to give you Stephon Castle. Of course, they're not going to give you like Victor Wembanyama. They would never do that. But like they're not going to give you anything.
What would happen if that were the trade? De'Aaron Fox for Victor Wembanyama. Like with the NBA, like David Stern would come back from the dead and veto the trade.
Yes. Like he did with Chris Paul to the Lakers.
Like he did with Chris Paul, to the Pelicans back in the day. Were they still the Hornets at that point? Yeah.
Were they the Hornets? Yeah, they were the Hornets.
I think they were still the Hornets when that happened. Yeah. I don't know if they were the Pelicans at that point yet. Oh,
they had no owner. What a time that was.
Yeah. It's a really, really, really interesting thing to think about how this is going to play out coming up now in the Pacific Division.